Just working? Okay, there it goes. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and call to order for the Plan and Zoning Commission agenda for today on the 29th of February at not 5:30. City Council Chambers, 405 Municipal Court Drive, Kennedale, Texas. Call to order. It's going to be to address the Planning and Zoning Commission regarding an agenda item. You must submit a request to speak before the meeting begins. We have anyone? Okay. Okay, cool. All right, if you do speak, please address the Planning and Zoning Commission as a whole rather than individual members or staff. Pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071, the Planning and Zoning Commission reserves the right to adjourn into executive closed session anytime during the meeting to seek legal advice from the city attorney on any posted item agenda. This time we can get a roll call, please.
Andrew Mikowski, place 1.
Here.
Colby Cowan, place 3. Here. Perry Clementi, place 5. Mr. Round, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. All right into the regular session. We're going to look to approve the minutes from February 22nd, 2023, the regular meeting.
All right, so I did notice that there was it seems to be just a duplicate of the PZ case 2404 at the very bottom of the page. If we can just have that removed, I motion we approve that.
Can you state specifically what you're talking about so those that do not have it in front of them?
So at the very bottom of the page, the line that needs to be removed, it says motion approve, action approve, PZ case 24-01 to conduct, and goes on all the way through Texas. And that is basically the exact same line that is basically halfway down the page. So it's just a duplicate error.
All right, we note that. Okay, aside of that change, can I get a motion to approve?
Yeah,
Conditional?
Yeah, I motion we approve once given that is removed.
Second?
I have a second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4 approvals. All right, second case. Let's see, we're going to consider the approval of preliminary plat creating Lot 1 through 15 and open space Block 1 RMC Business Park Edition being 24.814 acres of land situated within the Jesse B. Renfro Survey, abstract number 1260, Kennedale, City of Kennedale, Tarrant County, Texas.
Good evening, Commissioners. Okay, so this particular agenda item is the request for preliminary plat, 317 South New Hope Road. The surrounding uses there, this is a piece of property, very large, so about 24 acres, a little bit over 24 acres, undeveloped. It does have a gas well pad on site, and it's got frontage that off of New Hope Road. So if you're familiar with, if you go down south on New Hope, there's a duplex neighborhood there, and it's adjacent to that particular neighborhood. So it's that particular property is currently zoned industrial. And so this new development will create these 15 new lots within that parcel for future commercial and warehouse development. And what they've kind of described it as, each lot will have an industrial or warehouse structure, and they're kind of playing with the concept of like these man cave type facilities there where folks could purchase these units and then use them to kind of store their high-end automotive, trinkets, trophies, things like that. The interior is still kind of being worked with, but as far as the structure goes, the overall use is flex space, office space, warehouse space, which those particular land uses are all permitted by right in the current zoning. there. So if you've got any specific questions regarding what the development will consist of, we do have them here as well that can speak to that. But directly north of this property, like I mentioned, we have the duplex community. So we've had discussions about screening between the commercial development and the existing residential development to the north. To the west and the south, we have existing single-family homes, pretty good-sized homes on detached homes on pretty good-sized lots there. And then if you go to the east of this property borders the rail line, and on the other side of that, you get a long strip of just commercial property off the parkway, and those uses are automotive uses, some warehouse uses as well. But again, like I mentioned, the plan to build a commercial warehouse flex space, and we've even talked about what those landscape requirements are going to look like. But in this, there'll be further review for the civil engineering for the site. But as we previously stated, all the proposed land uses that's been discussed are all permitted by right already. So with that, they've met all their requirements for city planning, and for that, the staff, we recommend approval. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from the board?
So I just had a question. The road that's there, it's between lots 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It creates this little teardrop area on the plat. What, I can't understand that.
So what that is a access easement road, private road that's going through the development to provide access so that those lots that are created aren't landlocked per se. And so you'll have, and we've had fire review, and of course there'll be additional review for that on the radiuses as that turns. But what you're seeing there is established in the preliminary plat is an access easement of some sort to provide access, again, through the actual piece of property, and then return back to New Hope.
Yeah, it's just a little strange to me because those lots, basically the road splits it to where there's some lot, road, a little bit of lot.
If you think of like, if I can relate this to anything in town, like Tower Road, for example. If you've been on Tower Road, it's off the parkway, and it's a road that kind of does a turn, and it kind of bends into like a cul-de-sac. And so, if you think about it, when that was created, it's one big piece of land, and then they created the lots within it, and then to provide access to those back lots, they've got a road that kind of meanders. Now here, they've got some topography, you're contending with the gas well, some detention, site detention. So that road through the development has some bends and some turns. But all the buildings obviously will be sited and fronted off of those access points. And so another way I can call it is a fire apparatus access road, right? So it's private development, private property, essentially, but fire department's still going to need to have some access to get to that. And so they're not going off-road, and I don't think the fire chief would like that. They're providing a meandering path through the development, and then there's a hammerhead towards the back to that.
Thank you. That's it.
That answer your question? Yeah, because I was looking at the same thing.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the open space one? It's on here.
Sure. The open space, and they can speak more to that. The open space will account for, I believe, site detention. It also allows for like a buffering area. You also have to have a certain distance from the existing well site to any habitable structure. The code really speaks to residential structures, but just in good practice, you want to have a good buffer between it. And so that open space will serve as that buffer, but also there's a detention pond, I believe, out there that's already on site. Did I misstate that? Oh, sure, we have the engineer here.
Thank you. For the record, Trace Strevey with Baird Hampton and Brown Engineers, 6300 Ridgely Place, Fort Worth, Texas. And I've been working with Mitch and Ronnie as their civil engineer for the project. So as to the teardrop shaped road and some of the site layout and the shape, just be aware that that's the vision of the developer. They worked with a local architect here in town, Callahan and Freeman, to place the buildings and create the driveways in accordance with the developer's vision. It's going to be pretty unique having that double roadway right there with the big green belt in between it, but it blocks the view from building to building, creates some separation. And obviously, most developers would have packed a lot more square footage of buildings in here than we have. So it's a very low density development for an industrial warehouse type project. But it really is just to create some buffer and some separation and some front door visibility out of these buildings. As to the open space lot, is correct. There is a gas pad in there, and then there's a big pond that's been constructed that we're also going to be using for detention. But there's also a huge swath of big, beautiful trees that we just didn't want to cut down, frankly. So by making it an open space lot, all those trees are going to be protected. It's a big, big park area, basically.
And so the buildings that are going to be constructed on this, are they going to be constructed by the developer, or is this going to be something that's
By the owner.
by the owner themselves? So this is just for the lots. The additional stages haven't come to fruition yet?
Correct. Well, the next stage after this is final plat and construction plan review, and then obviously building permits all go through the Kennedale's building permit program. So they'll all meet code, if that's what you're asking.
Well, I'm saying that, so the owners of the lot will work with the developer, and so you're still holding on to the project even after the platting, right?
Right. So we've had conversations. There was an idea about he may build them all and lease them. He may have some friends who want to purchase a building and own it themselves. He may build and then sell after it's finished, or sell a lot and have somebody else build on it. Any of those are, to be determined.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, with that being said, there's no open forum on these. It's not public hearing.
I got a question for Nathan, please.
Sure.
I maybe you've said it, Nathan, I missed it. Or as these get developed, are they going to be doing any retail sales or anything that's going to bring in any tax dollars for us, or is it strictly just, revenue from property tax for the city? I mean, will that have, do we know anything in the future?
At this point, I don't. I would envision that there's a possibility to have some sort of business that will have personal business property that's subject to taxes. Retail in and of itself isn't permitted within industrial. Why? I don't know. It's just how it is on the tables right now. So retail wouldn't be allowed in the current district per se, unless it gets rezoned to like commercial 2 or C1 or something like that. But and then, again, with the creation of the lots, that's another thing, is right now it's all one big piece of property. By subdividing the lots and the land, if there's a particular unit that they want to turn into something like that, then that owner or building owner or landowner of that time could consider rezoning to commercial to allow for retail or restaurant or pickleball or who knows,
I guess what I meant is like they'll warehouse things and then, not retail to people being, I guess, just, sell to, how do I say it? Just sell to businesses and stuff.
He's talking about businesses.
Wholesale is permitted.
thank you.
Yeah, wholesale is permitted within industrial distribution, like warehousing, those types of things. That is, I believe, permitted in the industrial district.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Good. All right, let's take a motion to consider the approval of the preliminary plat.
I'll make a motion to approve the preliminary plot.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor? All right, you got 4, sir. Okay, item C, consider site plan approval for the new for a new commercial building located at 535 West Kennedale Parkway, Kennedale, Texas. Now, I'm assuming this is on a future public hearing, is that correct?
This one is just subject to P&Z approval and council approval, so this wouldn't be public hearing.
That's not under public hearing. Oh, so you're talking about the secondary, 07, public hearing? Because that's what it's relating to back on the session ID information for 5.
Oh, okay, so I see what you're saying. So this would be item C, and the public hearing would be 2405, so that would be the next agenda item. This one is simply just a site plan approval.
Yeah, what I'm saying though is it references further on in the package for your staff report, the same address, reference case 2407.
Okay, so I'm seeing that on the agenda, you should see PZ, so this is PZ 2407, 535 West Kennedale Parkway, site plan approval. On the agenda, I may have got an older one, but you should be seeing that. But it's for 535 West Kennedale Parkway, for consider approval for a site plan.
Okay. Just making sure that's not considered public hearing at this point because it is marked as a public hearing case, PZ case, so.
On my agenda, it's showing PZ 2405 as a public hearing. Let me.
Is it referring to what a additional agenda time? Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Item C, 2 is consider site plan approval for a new commercial building located. Okay, let's try that again. Item 2, regular session, C2, consider site plan approval for a new commercial building located at 535 West Kennedale Parkway, Kennedale, Texas, 76060.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. So this particular item is pretty straightforward. I have a building ready to go, a building permit ready, it's approved, I'm ready to issue it. Last spring, however, we put in place new site plan requirements for P&Z and council so that any new development, you guys get wind of it, subject to your approval. What this is a 4,000 square foot building right off the parkway. It's zoned Old Town 4. Right now, you'll see there's an existing metal shop behind it. This will be sited in front of that off the parkway. It'll have a brand-new parking lot, dumpster screening, landscaping. And what this is likely it's an automotive repair shop. And they've faced it in masonry, and it has a storefront look. So you won't be looking at just like a metal building, metal shop that you see there right now. It's hard to see from the parkway because the elevation changes, but there's a existing shop further into the lot that is just a metal building. So this will be in front of that, and it's ready for issuance. But before we can do that, we bring it to you for approval.
How many more automotive shops are we going to be having on the parkway? Between tire shops and automotive shops, I mean, great, they're competitive with each other, but.
Where do they eat?
Yeah.
It's a good question, but it is a new commercial business in town. Oh, it's the same business. They're just, I don't know what their plans are for the existing shop, but we'll have a brand new building off the parkway and a concrete parking lot. Striping. We won't see a dumpster. We're in this particular area right now. It's just you see the drive approach, and then it's just like a gravel lot, a lot of it. But it is a good question.
What's the name of the existing shop?
What's in the existing shop? Yeah, they work on trucks. They're
What's the
off-
name of them? What's the name of the business?
I don't recall right offhand the,
Oh, so the same, they're going to just move?
yeah,
to
it's
it.
the
Okay.
same owner.
Oh, okay. Same owner.
He just
Expanding kind of thing?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
exactly.
I thought it was another new one, like, oh,
I guess no, I guess the
He's
business is good.
improving.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And it's got an office inside, like you walk in, it's got a lobby area, it'll have a restroom, and have an office in the back, a real small one, and then it's got 4 automotive bays off that, and then the drive itself to the back will be a fire lane. It'll be striped accordingly as well. So.
So I noticed that they're using a lot of angled parking on this. And I'm sure that's probably because of the lot size and in order to get the driveway wide enough for fire and whatnot, you had to go with the angled parking. So my concern is, I mean, it's really more just a comment that as they, when they back out, they have this nice paved area, but they're going to have to go up and turn around in the dirt area to come back.
I see what you're saying, but no, it'll all be, that whole area will be paved. And it's required parking for the employee parking that they're gonna have there. So customers will, obviously, they would come in, they'd pull into a bay, and then they would go into the lobby area. But there is some sufficient room to do some maneuvering within the lot. And then I think their long-term, or their plan afterward, is to continue that drive towards the back. So from what I understand, that angled parking on the side, not up front, the in front is, again, they'll have limited customer parking. It's a real small area, but I think they plan to continue that drive further to the back at some point. But yeah, when we talked about what the required parking was, it's right now 2 per bay, and then for 1 per employee or whatnot. But their operation is they bring a truck in, pull it into the actual bay itself, and if they have to park it, they'll park it there. But it's not in the like a take 5 where you're going to have passenger cars coming and kind of moving around. So right now the way they operate is we don't really see it because it's behind a fence. So it's just heavy, commercial vehicles coming in.
Any further discussion? See much on this? All right, we can take a motion, consider site plan approval for location 535 West Kennedy Parkway. Can I get a motion on that?
Motion we approve.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Makes it easy. All right. Item 3A, moving into public hearings, PZ case 24-05 to conduct a public hearing and consider a proposal zoning change request from C1, which is Commercial District, to EC1, which is Employment Center District, for approximately 0.3265 acres, Block 7, Lot 4A, Les Row, Block 7 of the Oak Crest Addition, located at 6704 Lindell Road, Kennedale, or City of Kennedale, Tarrant County, Texas. It's becoming a busy area. Go ahead.
Okay, so the subject property is about 0.32 acres. It's owned by the Kennedale Economic Development Corporation. And right now, it's currently vacant. It's sited right off of the service road, kind of behind QT. Behind QT, there's a large empty lot. That's where the future True Hotel will be. And then this one's off of that Lindale area. So this is right off the service road. So the EDC, they've actually signed a lease with a proprietor to come in and install a billboard sign up there on that particular lot. And the property right now, though, is currently zoned C1. And so that limits what kind of poles you can put on that property. Again, we're talking about a lot that's off of the service road, it's got highway frontage. So typically, people that want to build on those they want they want some good signage to attract attention off of the highway, which sits significantly higher than the lot. And so at 32 feet, that's about the size of the top of a roof, residential roof. It would probably be even, if not below, the existing highway. And so with the request to the zoning, for a zoning change to EC1, this is the employment district, one of the employment districts. Everything within the employment district allows for higher signs. And so we don't have employment district property or zone property all over town. It's specific to the area closest to the highway. So the QT, for example, that's right there by the highway. Across the way, we have McDonald's, you have Nancy's Liquor, Fort Worth Tower, those particular areas. Those are zone EC2. But when you compare the land uses from the current zoning district and employment district, EC1, they're relatively the same. The caveat is on EC1, it allows for perhaps some drive-through opportunities for establishments. Signage is subject to a whole separate section of the ordinance than a C1 property is. So this zoning change, again, would allow for that billboard sign to kind of go up. And they've already submitted a building permit for that. It just can't be approved given the current zoning. So in discussions with the EDC, that's what they've elected to do. Pending, of course, P&Z's approval or recommendation and City Council's approval. So happy to answer any more questions that you have, or any questions.
I do have one question. Do we have any kind of future design development on how that southern connector is going to change that exit ramp area or the access to that area from the highway? Right now, it's almost a very short exit ramp, almost right into QT. So is that going to change? Do they know if they're going to back it up a little bit? I see nodding back here. That's a city
having a
manager
blank,
question there for you.
The EDC Economic Executive Director is here, and he's intimately familiar with that. Sir.
Technically, the answer is no, it's not going to change. So what you see now is that formula stays the same. It does change, but it's not going to change the exit. So where you have the service road currently, you'll continue to see that same concept.
The service road's gonna be extended, so there will be a service road running from Anglin all the way to Kidderville.
Yeah, that's already there.
The exit stays the
The
same.
exit's what I'm talking about.
It doesn't change.
Okay. Because it is going to affect businesses along there. I mean, just accessibility is what I'm looking at. Because if not, you're going to get off on Eglin Road and have to drive along the frontage road to access those areas, unless there's that loop back that's still going to be there. So they're going
The
to have.
design of it is still what it is today. It doesn't change. Yes, there will be a new service road. Your exit will stay the same, doesn't change. So if you want to get to where the sign is or where the property is located, you still need to go to Kennedale Parkway, come around, then come in that way. Same, it doesn't change. It's all new, but it doesn't change.
All new, same way. Gotcha. It was a curiosity thing I've had for a while since we had the steering committee, and they couldn't answer that either.
Yeah, the concept of it is that they continue to say new service road, and it is. It is new, but it's an elevated service road. So that's the reason why it doesn't change. The location of everything is all the same, but it is a new service road, but it's elevated.
New and improved, staying the same. Got it.
So with it being with it being an elevated service road, is the 75 feet limit high enough?
It's sufficient, I'll say. Yeah. I was trying to, in my mind's eye, picture 75. That's the max. That's the max. So this would be up there. And it would allow for that. But I'm a little taken back, guys. Just, you had him on the hot seat and you gave him one question. I get 30. No, it's okay. Okay, but yes, that's the max that the zoning would even allow for. And that's the only district that allows for signs that tall. Off the Parkway, pole signs aren't even permitted anymore. We have some existing, but in the event, they can be refaced, but if they get pulled, they can't go back up. They'd have to be monument signs. So, yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. That's just been one of those burning questions we had since committee. No one's really been able to answer it. And of course, the term that's been kicked around is new frontage.
Well, I should have been able to answer that. And
All right,
it escaped
no.
me.
There's
Good deal.
actually YouTube videos out there. It's called the Southeast Connector, and you can actually virtually drive the whole thing. It's the Southeast Connector.
Good to know. Did you say that loud enough for those in the?
The Southeast Connector. There's YouTube videos. You can look at them.
Okay, because that's a good thing for the public to know, because
Yeah.
I didn't know, and
Yeah, it's the
There you
Southeast
go.
Connector. Southeast Connector, TxDOT has actually put out YouTube videos that,
If you'll follow us on Facebook and all social media platforms and our website, it is all posted there. So I encourage you to get a hold of our newsletter, and we'll have that on there as well. We get updates weekly from Southeast Connector. Any road closures, anything of that nature is posted weekly. But you're right, you can go to our website where there's links that you can go to Southeast Connector, and it'll show you all the closures, the design, the exits, of the whole concept, not just Kennedale, but all of it.
appreciate the information, everybody. Thank you. Absolutely. I believe those at home that are not in the peanut gallery out here are also thankful. All right, well, for the public hearing, we can open up that at 6:35. And it doesn't look like anybody's here, so we can close at 6:35. Any last alibis before we motion? All right. In this case, let's take a motion for the public hearing to look at the proposal on P&Z case 2405. And can I get a motion to approve, recommend approval?
I motion we approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor? You guys are easier this time. It is passed unanimously, sir.
Well, there's no angry citizens.
All right, everybody, I appreciate your time very much. There's no further discussion. We can make a motion to adjourn at this time. Motion to adjourn, anybody?
Second.
All in favor? 6:36.